What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hines Show. And in this video, I want to be continuing my series of doing season predictions for each NFL team. My last season prediction video was of the Baltimore Ravens. This one is of the Buffalo Bills. Last season, the Buffalo Bills surprised many people, going 13-3 last season and being in the AFC Championship game. Josh Allen was lights out last season, having a MVP type of season. And, to me, a big part of their success last year was offense coordinator Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll has been a big part of Josh Allen's success and, his growth during his time with Buffalo. And to me, the biggest part of the offseason for the Buffalo Bills is retaining offense coordinator Brian Daboll. There was rumors that he could possibly leave for a different team for a head coaching spots. But, he is not, he's still with Buffalo, and I think that's going to be a big reason why Buffalo could be one of the teams to beat in the AFC this season. A couple additions here in the offseason for the Bills. They brought in Miami Florida edge rusher Gregory Rousseau, and they also brought in Western Michigan edge rusher Carlos Basham Jr. Heading into the 2021 offseason, their biggest issue was edge rusher. They doubled down, getting one in the first and the second. To me, I really like that idea. There might have been some other better players available, but both those guys are really good, and I think they can have big factors in Buffalo's defense in the future. And they also brought in wide receiver from New Orleans Saints, Emmanuel Sanders. And to me, the only really departure for the Buffalo Bills, I think, could take a toll on their performance this season is John Brown. And I really feel like Emmanuel Sanders is a very similar style of wide receiver of John Brown, and I think Sanders would just take over John Brown's spot for the Buffalo Bills offense. So in week 1, the Buffalo Bills take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game is in Buffalo, so I have the Bills winning this one. If this was in Pittsburgh, I would still probably have the Bills winning, but it'd be much more competitive. I did not expect the Steelers to be nearly as good as they were last season. Towards the end of last year, we really saw a decline in play for Pittsburgh, and I really expect them to play kind of like how they did the last 3 or 4 games last year. So it's 1-0 on the season so far for the Bills. Week 2, they go to Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Dolphins have the right tools in place, but to me, we just do not know what we're going to get from Tua Tagovailoa. He's so inconsistent, and until we see more from Tua, to me, it's kind of hard to pick the Dolphins in big games like this, and especially a division rival like the Bills. So I'm going to take the Bills here in week 2 to go 2-0 on the season. Week 3, they host the Washington football team. And, Washington's defense last season was absolutely phenomenal. And they brought in quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. And, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to me, you're either going to get Fitzmagic or Fitztragic. One or the other. It's not an in-between, it seems like. And it's like, I cannot trust a team with Ryan Fitzpatrick to win a huge game like this. And I'm going to pick the Bills here in week 3 to go to 3-0 on the year. Week 4, they play the Texans. There's no explaining this one. The Texans suck. They're going to have the worst record in the league. They're horrible. Easily have the worst roster in the NFL. Makes the Bills go 4-0 in the year. Week 5, though, to me, is very intriguing. And arguably one of the most intriguing games this season, in the 2021 season. The Bills head to Kansas City for a rematch in the AFC Championship game. I do have the Bills losing this game, but I would not be shocked if they did maybe upset the Chiefs here in week 5. But with this loss, the Bills move to 4-1 on the year. Week 6, they host the Tennessee Titans. And they go to Tennessee to take on the Titans in Tennessee. And the Titans, to me, Derrick Henry is a top 3 running back. A.J. Brown is a very young and talented receiver. They brought in Julio with the trade with the Falcons. But to me, with Ryan Tannehill, you don't know what you're going to get from him. And especially with the Tennessee defense. They were ranked last season and sacks last year. And honestly, I think the Titans are a tad bit overrated. I'm going to go with the Bills here. In week 6, go to 5-1 on the year. Week 7 is their bye. So going into their bye week, they are 5-1. pretty good when you look at their schedule and how many, pretty talented teams they play up to that point. Week 8, they take on the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo. This game here, I do have them losing. Like I mentioned, the Miami Dolphins have the right talent, but with Tua being inconsistent, Josh Allen was a phenomenal quarterback last season. Last season, he was a top 3 quarterback, in my opinion. But there were times, he kind of struggled. Wouldn't be surprised maybe we saw Allen struggle here a little bit in Week 8. And, the Bills lose here in Week 8 to drop to 5-2 on the season. Week 9, they head to Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this should be an easy win here, one of the more easier games of their schedule. With this win, they move to 6-2 on the year. Another easy game here, in my opinion. They go to New York to take on the Jets. The Jets have some really young talent, but I think they might be good in a year or two. But, I think, with Josh Allen's MVP season last year, Brian Daboll surprisingly back as the offensive coordinator. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's rumors that the Bills could possibly trade to get star tight end from Philadelphia, Zach Ertz. I just think, Josh Allen will overpower, the young Jets defense here to go to 7-2 on the year. Week 11, they host the Indianapolis Colts. I have them losing this game. To me, the Colts are the most underrated team. Well, one of the most underrated teams heading into the season. The Bills actually defeated the Colts last season in the playoffs. Carson Wentz going to the Colts, pairing him back with former offense coordinator when they were together, Frank Wright with the Philadelphia Eagles. There's also reports and rumors Zach Ertz can maybe go to Indianapolis as well. And they have a great offensive line, a great defense. I have the Buffalo Bills dropping to 7-3 here in Week 11. Week 12, they go to New Orleans to take on the Saints. I think this is a possible upset watch here. I think the Saints are going to perform much better than people think. I think they're still a playoff contender here, but I do have Buffalo winning here in Week 12 to go with 8-3. Week 13, they host the New England Patriots. I have them losing this game. To me, I really feel that this is going to be a revenge game for the Patriots. Last season they were swept by the Buffalo Bills. It was the first time in over a decade the Patriots did not win the AFC East. The Patriots roster is completely different compared to last season, and I think they are going to be a playoff caliber team for sure. And I think Belichick has some revenge on his mind, and the Buffalo Bills end up dropping this game here to go to 8-4 on the year. The following week, they head to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers arguably have the best roster in the NFL. Playing them in Buffalo, I think, would be a little bit different. I think it would be closer, but I'd still probably have to give the edge to Tampa Bay. But this being in home at Tampa Bay, there's no way I can bet against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. The Bills dropped to 8-5 after that loss. Week 15, I have the Bills winning against the Carolina Panthers, but I definitely think we could possibly see a upset watch. I really like the Panthers this season. I think they're one of the most underrated teams going into the season. But I have Buffalo pulling out with a victory here in Week 15, going to 9-5. Week 16 in New England, I had the Bills winning this game. And, this game, this particular game could maybe decide, who ends up winning the AFC East at this standpoint. And, I think winning in New England is tough, but the Bills didn't last season. They're capable of doing it again this year. With this win, they move to 10-5 on the year. Week 17, a really, really easy game here. At home against the Atlanta Falcons. Arguably, aside from the Houston Texans, the worst team on their schedule. They move to 11-5 with that win. And to close it out, they get another win. A home victory over the New York Jets, moving them to 12-5 on the season. 12-5 is my prediction for the Buffalo Bills 2021 prediction. My ceiling for them is 14-3. I think there may be even a couple more games we can see the Bills maybe pull off a victory. And my floor for them is 9-8. This AFC East division is much, much tougher compared to last season. And I do think there might be a game or two or maybe in a couple games we see, the Buffalo Bills lose when they not necessarily should lose. But once again, my prediction for the Buffalo Bills is 12-5. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you all next time on the